just basic things, everyday things. But so that's where I come from. I know it's a bit of a wide range for abduction, and most of you guys probably even know my account anyway. But
Tina.
Yes.
We're only going live right now. Something happened for 20 minutes.
No.
I don't know what to tell you. You want to start over?
I've been ranting for about 20 minutes.
I know that. I look and then it says, "Oh, we didn't start." I said, "How could that be?"
Oh, I think Dave messaged me, said, "Are we on tonight?" I'm like, "Yeah." Oh, I haven't messaged him back. So, is it Dave Bryant who's on each week?
I just got a message from an important UFO person. They want to talk to me right now soon, but I don't know what's going to happen with that. But we'll see what happens with that. But I'm really sorry. I've been having trouble with my computer with being online right now. They've been cutting our power off, and they're going to start doing like they do to you in your country. They just warned us they're going to start turning the power off.
Yeah, why are they doing that?
Hold on. There is a reason. Anything the government does is for a reason, but they won't tell us the real reason. Now, I know when California had the blackouts for years, 2 years, they said there was too many people using air conditioners. No, I know the facts on that. It was because when they turned the HARP system on, it drained all the power from California, and it blew everything out. So they had to shut the power down when they turned the HARP system on so it didn't blow everything out.
Well, we have...
That's a fact.
Just on this recently, last week, the beginning, just as we did our show last week, there was a thing. They thought Russia had interfered with a satellite bringing a military plane back from Poland. And I don't think it was, but I'm not a military expert. Because the next day, other people said that they was having problems. And then I think it was, just don't quote me, I think it was a big store, I'm not sure if it was McDonald's or another chain around the world, couldn't take card payments. And in England, we've been having loss of signal and things like that because of satellite damage from the sun. Also this week, it said in the one of the prophecy things, I'm not all for these prophecy things, what have you, but it said about this, the horned demon in the sky, an asteroid. And it is actually a horned asteroid or meteor on its way to Earth or to pass Earth. So that is, and they've got pictures of it. So there could be something to that. After all, you never know. They predicted it. It's come in the right year. It's got horns on it, and they have pictures of it. So it could be that. But back to what me and Tommy were saying earlier. For some reason, our show's been a bit hickledy-pickledy tonight. Yeah, we're talking about like Terra in the skies and things like that. Again, people's reports of 1 or 2 craft are out there. That's fine. But these things that have been spotted or not attacking or been very hyper interested in American aircraft carriers, they're like fleets of 10, 20 or 100. These ships, not just one. People were misunderstanding the velocity of this. But to get back to what I was saying, our show's been actually going 23 minutes now. But we've lost 20 minutes somewhere of a live show. Not quite sure how that's happened. I was just explaining like Terror in the skies. That's fine. But everyday people in abduction. Now you've got men and women. It is mainly men's stories that are made films. Like Travis Walton, Fire in the Sky. I believe I seriously meeting Travis and speaking to him a few times and that. And I believe they took Travis by mistake. There's no two ways about that. Again, Whitley Schreiber's story, the communion, very good, well done. But there aren't many things put up about what actually happens to women, which I think is a bit more horrifying. And I don't think the government or the filmmakers want to actually portray that. Now, I've seen the film, is it The Fourth Kind? About the owls and things like that. Yeah, so I watched that. But I've known quite a few abductees now, and I want to say mostly men have come forward because of what's happened to them. Women, not so much. But like I was saying earlier, it's about protection of people have their own genres about UFOs, UAPs, and that's fine. They're on about the objects in the sky. What I and people in the field of abduction are more concerned about what the occupants have been doing inside those ships. Now, I was saying that the environmental impact, which I'll just go back over that quickly, is these things come into our airspace uninvited, under the guise of night, and take people in the local area, invade their local airspace, and abduct them against their will, without their consent, torture them, and put them back. Now, if these are good aliens, what makes them good? Because anyone that comes under the guise of night without an invitation to take children against their parents' wishes and against the children's wishes, and performs mutilating internal operations on them, deprives them of families, and then just to put them back. I mean, there's something wrong with that. It's not really, it's not happening. It shouldn't be allowed. And the governments all around the world should be held accountable and responsible for that. Families should be compensated. Emergency medical care, scans, x-ray, medication help, psychiatric help if needed, physical, emotional help and support. People should be believed, and this should be looked into. They know it's a real thing. They've had professors looking into ground crews on military ships, and they've just been near these things, just near the aircraft, and it's affected the ground crews. So they can prove that with a brain scan. So, and they did I think it was, going back a few years, they released, I think you can find it on Fox News Nation, they released a thing to say they've got a 1,500-page report on people that they did treatment on and treated and looked at who said they'd been abducted. And they could tell they've all been abducted just by giving them these brain scans. So it's a real phenomenon. It's been researched and it's been looked into. Why is no one helping the public? Why is no one helping anyone that said that they've been abducted? What happens to people that can't get to the internet? We can't report anything in Britain because there isn't a desk. The reason there isn't a desk, so they haven't got to be responsible to anybody. What about the countries that don't have an internet? People that don't have access to GPs, doctors, nurses, help, basic medicine and pain relief. What about the people that have nothing, that had to bury their dead and pay for it? People die from being abducted. So there's a long list just there that the government and people should be held responsible and accountable for. And what about the people in mental institutions or been locked up over the years wrongly, saying that they've been abducted or just that they've seen these things? They're never getting their lives back, and their families have been deprived of their innocence their whole life. So, there's scars that do run deep, very deep. So I think it's about time they drew a line under all of that, came forward, apologised, moved on, and helped the people they can now. It could be a case that they can't stop these beings or people, fair enough, but they can help citizens. They can help everyday people, every day. They said humanity's dying, birth rates are dropping. They should be looking at saving the people on this planet, not paying to go to another planet, not paying hundreds of billions and trillions or quadrillions of pounds to do space exploration when they can't even look after the people on this planet. And then, like I said about the environmental factors, there's loads of things to be thinking about and go into. Again, just because I'm not in a military uniform right now, why am I not getting compensation? Why am I not getting time off work? Why am I not getting free medical care, free prescriptions? Why am I not being treated like, you've had a hysterectomy, this has happened to you, this has happened to you. Let's fix your pelvis. Let's fill in those 1,000 needle mark holes so you don't get further arthritis, so you're not in severe pain, so you can sleep at night. Why aren't you believed? Why is this treatment not available? And it is absolutely horrendous. Victims of the war has been compensated for being tortured and genocide. This is exactly what's going on to the human race now. And our governments are standing by letting this happen. Surely they should be held up in The Hague accountable for this. And this is where I'm actually coming from. So please excuse me, I just got to blow my nose. I've just had a bad cold. So there is more. And then that's without the personal injury you suffer having an account being taken. It's not just once, it's many, many times. And other people within your family, aunties, uncles, distant relatives, grandparents. Perhaps it does run in lines. From what I'm learning now, perhaps it does. I didn't got the scientific data to back that up. That's just a suppose. But from what other people and my own family have told me, I can only tell you about my account and what I've seen. And I've not been asleep. It's not airy fairy and it's negative because they're all nice. Well, if they're all nice, where are all the bad ones? Should we be worried more about that? Again, so nice invited beings from a different place, time, or wherever in the universe don't come under the guise of night. They don't invade your airspace. They don't elude your military. They ask you. You're invited. You're not abducted. You're not tortured and bits taken. You're not mutilated, hurt, and made incapable of having a family by all this. So, if that's a good one, give me a good example of a good race that is following all those rules, because I don't know of one. And if that is a bad race, then you should be looking for more bad races and more bad things going on out there. And if the governments are in collusion with them, then that's a whole different kettle of fish. I think it's time people just come forward, say, yes, this is true, draw a line under it, and move forward. Time passes so quickly for the people on Earth here, and with this short lifespan, let's just enjoy what time you have left pain-free. And I'm sure there's other I know there's other abductee victims out there, more pain and have a more horrific story than mine, but there you go. I will hand it back to Tommy. But if anyone has any questions, please come forward, get on the show, speak to Tommy, speak to me, send us questions. Tommy.
Okay, people. The title for today, why I came up with it, is because right now I can go outside any night. If it's clear, see anywhere from 2 to 5, 10 UFOs a night. All right, and they're not satellites, people. I got everybody in the neighborhood here in Hawaii that I know looking at the sky. Every one of them reports to me once a week about what they saw. So there's many things going over us. And Tina can go out any night and see a UFO over her house. What I tell her, they're not going to let her go. They keep an eye on her. But that's not a good thing. But I gave a technique out to people that want to film UFOs during the day. It's a little bit harder to film UFOs during the day than at night. The only difference is usually when you film during the day, they're traveling much faster. At nighttime, they slow down for some reason, whatever. But during the day, you have to have a good camera. You got to face the sky and face opposite of the sun about mid-afternoon. Put it on almost maximum zoom. Leave your camera on for a half hour. But you need a camera that shoots at least 300 frames a second. And then when you go to watch that, you have to watch it in super slow motion, meaning you're going to be actually going through frame by frame. You'll see a lot of UFOs within a half hour, or even if you do it for an hour, you'll see many ships. All right. We did that research a long time ago, created it, and explained how to do it. But people don't do it. I mean, whether they don't want to get a good camera or they're just not willing to put the kind of time in. UFO observation is time consuming. All right. I work with a person for many years, and we film ships day and night. But he would be on his computer downloading, watching it all the time. We'd be up all night. We'd go out from 8 o'clock to about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, filming 1,000 pictures a night. And then we would download them and he would pull them up and everything. The only problem with that, he copyrighted all our pictures that we did. And we had over thousands. We put them up for 2 years. We had them on the internet. We had them on Kerry Cassidy's show we did. We put them out there every day. I'm talking about real photographs of real ships, as well as creatures, entities, and everything else. But we never got harassed or any questions. Nobody really cared at the time. And I'm talking between 1996 to 2002. We did the show on Kerry Cassidy around 220 for 9 months. We had an incredible following. Incredible people came into the chat room. But they wanted to charge us $50 to do a show. I paid to do all my stuff, the show and everything else. But I wasn't willing to pay $50 a show 4 times a month. So I had to cancel the show. But at that point, the person I was doing it with had a fight with me and we ended our kind of friendship. But the problem is I was able to use the pictures up until then. Now he's saying he'll take me to court if I use any of the pictures. I can show him, but not publicly. So if anybody's really interested in the truth, get in touch with me. But the problem is people need to realize Tic Tacs are not UFOs per se. I mean, it's a dot. I mean, it could be anything, what they say, phenomena, but it could be a ship. I'm talking about a photograph of a ship in the sky, which is a lot different than a little dot moving around in circles. But more people on the planet today are filming ships everywhere. But that's not the problem. The problem is, what are they here for? And nobody in the UFO world seems to want to talk about that in any great detail. Tina's explaining what happens. I can go into my stories. I might later. I don't know how long Tina can stay here. She's been hanging out. I'm glad. She's been pretty sick lately. People, she's radioactive. Nobody cares about that. The hospital doesn't explain or deal with it. Nobody will explain what's going on with her body. They have no clue, and they pretend they're helping her. But she's always sick, and she has every symptom of radiation poisoning, people. She even bought another Geiger counter because she just wanted to double prove what's going on. You want to take it out? You got time? Okay, so she has two different Geiger counters now, and she turns them on. I have the same one. I made her buy it when we first started doing the show.
Yeah, that's true. Get it on Amazon.
But here's the thing, people. It's not a good thing, and it's not safe, and she's in serious trouble with her body. She's in the hospital almost every month. But the main thing is something seriously happened. I wish you'd tell that story about what they cut out of your stomach and then what they told you. Why don't you just go into that, Tina, if you got a chance?
Yeah.
Let's see your Geiger counter first. Let's see.
All right. Hold on. It's not beeping today, but the numbers are moving. Oh.
Do your arms, under your arms and stuff, because it always goes off there.
No, nothing today. Hold on.
Well, the problem is her radiation goes up and down. Impossible, people. I talked to 5 scientists. Not one of them will get
there
back.
There you go. So the bottom numbers are moving.
See, that's
but
radiation on the bottom.
Not, yeah, it's not at a high point like it's beeping like mad like it normally does. Oh, there's nothing there.
Like I said, sometimes it's really high for her.
See, because the numbers are moving, they're just not beeping. So, but I'm getting slight, very slight, because I've only just turned it on, as you'll see my Geiger counter. Between 8 and 12 is a normal range, but sometimes there you go, 10 is popping up already. I'll start going up. There you go. So we're above normal range now. So, and I've just turned this thing on, and it tells you that, so you can clearly see.
You want to know something funny? I'm going to tell you right now. I got it facing you on the computer screen, and my radiation on the bottom went off. Another impossibility. Hold on, let me get a mirror and see if I can get used to see it. Now, I don't know if you can see that or not. Oh man, I can't get it.
So the bottom is electrical magnetic radiation.
But now my bottom's on 54, 61, 56.
So you can see the bottom there. See? So the micro test is 0.26. Normally it's beeping like mad saying harmful. But there, just for some reason, it's always there.
But I can put my Geiger counter on any part of the screen and it doesn't do that. But when I put it right over her picture on the computer, the radiation on the bottom goes off.
Normally it beeps, so this week we're having a good week.
Yeah, well, you're doing better today. It goes up and down. And
yeah, my hair's not really grown back up here. It's went like that one day. My hair came out. It's never grown back since. But there you go. So yeah, no, it's still chasing the background at 10. But guys, I have noticed. Thank you. I've had loads of positive reaction from the guys in the US. Not so much in the UK. So guys, get out. This book is free. You can get this free, guys. There it is. There you can get it free. It's called The Bonded: The Truth About Alien Abduction. That is an image of me. My sister-in-law used over an imprint. When she did it, she did digital art. So she does fantastic work, Anna Bad. But there's me. It's called The Bonded: The Truth About Alien Abduction. This is free on so if you've got Amazon Unlimited, so you got Amazon Kindle, you can get this on an Amazon Kindle. You can get this on Amazon Unlimited for free. So if you have Amazon Unlimited, get it for free. You don't have to pay for it. If you got Kindle, you can get it on Kindle or buy the book. It's £10, 10 English quid. That's all it is. So it's less than a packet of cigarettes, half the price of a packet of cigarettes. So guys, get this. It's got my full account in there. It's got my investigator's story in there about his investigating statement, and I'll put what I can in about my accounts. It's that big because originally I was going to put pictures in it, but even Amazon couldn't get pictures in it for some reason. They weren't quite sure why or how, but they couldn't. But yeah, that's it. So we got some questions in our chat room. My screen's frozen again, so I couldn't see. But yeah, so abduction. So please, if you can come up with any questions to ask your government, or you know something about a government that has changed, either they come out or they've withdrawn, they're changing the laws. I know America's in the middle of a huge storm because apparently the Senate has been lied to. So that's a big thing, a big deal. The UK, I think they've turned the cheek long enough personally. They need to really come out more. But I think Tommy's been plunging away at this show. Again, this is Terra in the Skies. Tommy's been right. This week there's been like prophecies and things like that. Tommy is so uncanny, but there was actually prophecies about the horned wormwood. It was called wormwood, or it was like a horned demon or a horned asteroid or meteor. I'm actually changing colour, guys. I'm actually having a hot flush. You see the colour? I'm physically changing colour. I'm not the Hulk, but and excuse me. This thing it's like an asteroid or meteor coming towards or past Earth. You can look it up online, and it's actually got horns on it. So their prophecy for 2024, this horned planet or whatever is passing us, is actually true. So I was quite amazed at that. They got the year right, the object right, and what it looked like right. So 10 out of 10. And these predictions were made hundreds of years ago, many centuries ago. So that's a good thing. So Tommy's got Terra in the Skies right. We don't know what these objects are. We still don't know the harm they're doing. If they're eluding our military, we know that they've had battles. We know that we've shot a few of theirs down, and we've had a few close encounters with our boys. Again, they need to be more focused. It's okay with these things running about the sky. Who is protecting the people on the ground? Who is protecting the people paying for this? Everyday poor citizens, just like me and you, are being taken and abducted against our will. What is being done? Again, the environmental impact and issues that surround that as well. But I don't really know what else to add to that. But guys, if you have a question, please come. It's been raining terribly these last couple of weeks here in the UK, so it's been hard to really go out, and I like to go out and skywatch. I can usually do it in my garden, but I've been unable to do that because the weather's been horrendous. I've got a warning now, 8. So there you go. So that's my Geiger counter there. So see the red and the green. So there you go. So the red is the red is average, what it should be, and it's just been jumping up and down. So you can see it there, and you get background. This has been above background. It's been to 16 already. Sometimes it's been higher. So there you go. So this is a Geiger counter. This one, the other one is you can buy these on Amazon, guys, or you can buy them on other places. This is an electrical magnetic radiation tester. I have one. Tommy's had one. It's about 18, 20 pounds. And again, guys, I bought this on Amazon about maybe 3 years ago. Now, this is my second one. I think I dropped the other one a couple of Christmases ago. But guys, get it. Do your own research. Write your own results down. Get books. Read free books. You can read mine free. Read other people's research and work. Don't sit there and second guess yourself. Never second guess yourself. Do your own research. Read other people. Ask questions. That's the way people learn and move forward. If you don't know or you're not interested, then fair. But if you want to know, ask a question. You can ask me and Tommy. If me and Tommy don't know the answer to a question, we can find somebody that can answer it for you. Or if you have an answer from a previous show, then please let me and Tommy know. If you'd like to come on our show, please Tommy can arrange it. Come on, won't cost you anything. Come on to the show. We'll ask you some questions, or you can ask us some questions, guys. Please come on. But yeah, but be open-minded. But with that, I'm going to hand it back to Tommy. But I've been Tina Bird here from Southampton in the UK. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. TA Bird. I'm an international author. Guys, please look me up. Again, my book's free on Amazon Unlimited. You can get on Amazon Kindle. You can buy the book. Tommy, as always, I look forward to next week. But look out, guys. Let me know, Tommy. We can't see it in the UK. It's only visible, I think, this horned planet meteor, whatever it is, passing from parts of America. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it in Hawaii. But we can't see it here in the UK. And we've also got the big coming up in June, the eclipse.
Solar eclipse. Yeah.
We've got the eclipse to look forward to. But with that, guys, get your input. Let us know what's flying about in the sky, where you are, and we'll see you next week. Tommy, it's been great as always.
Okay.
Speak
pleasure.
to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, everybody. Tina Bird, great person, not a storyteller. She has more evidence of abduction than anybody else in the UFO world right now. But mine started when I was young. I'm not going to go into all that now. I'm going to go into the problem we have right now. If I can go out and see 10 ships in 10 minutes or a half hour, or even an hour, over my head, do you know how many ships are traveling around the planet and what they're doing? All right. Nobody's talking about abduction in the UFO world in any great way anymore. They come up with a ridiculous word called experiencer. And all it means is they're programmed people that think they had a great experience on a UFO. There's no such thing as good aliens, people. Not like, oh, there's good and bad. No, there's no good and bad. They have their own agenda. Like the human race, we have our own agenda. We think a little different here and there and different things, but we are all the same. So an alien race, when they send a ship here, they're not going to spend or create a giant ship and put a bunch of foolish, ignorant people on it to send them around the planets to see what's going on. They got their researchers and their top people that they want out there to learn and study or whatever. And the people that abduct things, people and animals. All right. So now, with all the satellites up there, we are vulnerable. The world is completely vulnerable to be taken out in a second if alien races want to do it. And then you always get these people saying, well, aliens would take us out if they wanted to. No, they don't want to, or they would. It's that simple. But I'm going to go into a few facts, people, that nobody can talk about or wants to. I can't mention my ex-partner's name because we had a serious problem going down. But we filmed UFOs every day for years. And we put them online. We did lecturing around the United States. And we showed everybody and everything else. But I'm talking about photographs. We did a TV show called Strange Universe, which Sean David Morton was responsible for creating it, who the person I'm talking about had a total disagreement with that person. But we did a show. They took me out completely. They just showed me in the beginning and the end. They took everything I said out. But people, we showed a video on TV in 1997 of a ship stopping, shooting 3 ships out, and shooting out into space. And that was a long time ago, people. And we didn't get much anybody calling about it, asking about it. Over the years, I saw my first ship when I was 6. I was next to my first alien when I was 11. All right. Tina had the same problem, but she was being abducted. I stopped my brother from being abducted. There's many things I could get into if people want the answers to those kind of questions. How not to get abducted. And it should be a worry what people are going through, what happens to people, than what the government is doing with UFOs. The government is protecting the planet, people. The United States has been working with Russia. Germany's in between. But the United States and Russia have been dealing with aliens, people. Putin came out and said it 3 months before Trump was elected. And then he told Trump directly. And what did Trump do? Next day, he created the Space Force, which was already there. People, we are in trouble. Not the trouble that people think we're going to be in. And I'm going to go into some things. Even Musk has no clue, but he contradicts what he says all the time. Plus, he's a liar to me directly. All right. We're going to have problems with AI. He even admitted that. And then he said, well, AI is going to be great because we can eliminate all people's jobs. Does that sound like a good thing? All the little jobs like store manage, stocking the shelves and little things like that? Really? Take all those jobs away, and there's going to be a lot more people without being able to get a job. And I mean, in hospitals, and they got robots going around floor to floor giving out medicine and things like that. New York City, they're starting to hire robots to walk around the streets. Do you realize what's happening? Second to that, and I'm going to tell you straight out, whether you believe this or not, within 2 years, the world will know AI is not a fake entity. It is a real entity. It was created by aliens a long time ago, and they're feeding it into a computer system. But it will think, and it will be able to terminate people. Whether people want to hear that or not doesn't matter. I'm here until I leave, which I don't care when, how, or whatever. But the truth is, I will be putting as much truth out as I can until I leave. Just like Phil Snyder, his story is the second most important UFO story, and nobody talks about it. And the government currently comes out and says he committed suicide. No, he didn't. Look at what happened to him when he came out telling his story. He had a problem with his body that nobody could have created by themselves under any conditions. People, the truth's there. And if these UFO people think that they're going to be able to get the truth out, are delusional. The government is not going to come out and say what they did. They can't. Truman created a MJ-12 for a reason. They overpower the president in many things, people. And we are not poor. We're not a poor country and all the baloney stories you believe. Rich people are rich. How's that? Poor people are poor. And the poor and middle class people have to pay for the rich people. All right, you better think about what's happening, especially what's going to happen in this next coming voting season. Are aliens involved with everything? I will tell you yes. I don't know if you want history, but I'll make it real short. Aliens were here a long time ago, before the human races even came here. And they didn't like what happened with the human race that was here, called the people of Atlantis. So they destroyed Atlantis. And the whole concept, the pyramids, people, every race that was here is gone. Pyramids did not help them in any way. The things the Egyptians did were pathetic, sick, horrible. They weren't spiritual at any level. The aliens didn't teach them anything about spiritual truth, meaning a God. All right? They took credit for being that. And man created the word God. All right? There is an ultimate God. There are deities, and there are angels. They're all separate. And I mean, people believe Lucifer's the devil. Lucifer's an angel. Satan's the devil. But again, people don't want to believe that. The Pope himself had to hire 1,500 people to do exorcisms because aliens don't possess people. Entities do. Demons do. I was involved with hypnosis part of my life, finding out about past lives, missing time, all those things, started doing psychic implant removals. I've been in this all my life, people. I'm not a wannabe. I don't do anything for money. I mean, I worked when I was younger, but I mean, I don't do anything as far as spiritual teachings or talking about UFOs and aliens to make money. Every book I put out is about spiritual things, not about UFOs or aliens. They don't deserve that much energy. They're not good. They're not here to help us. And when people think they went on a spaceship and got a free ride to the universe and had a free meal and all, ask them what they actually ate. I know one person in UFO world actually talked about what aliens like to eat. One person. And he worked for the government. But people, are you ready for the truth? I am sure you're not. Because the truth hurts. The truth isn't pleasurable. Knowing that this body is living in hell, who wants to hear that? All your cheap experiences that you think are so important, sex, drugs, relationships, and all that, are only temporary. In one lifetime. And your maximum lifetime is 125 years. Aliens can live 1,500 years or more. All right? So they've been here a lot longer, and they have been here since way before humans have. I'm not going to get into the story how humans were brought here. We weren't hatched here, and the Anunnaki didn't create us. But you can believe these stories because of one person, Zachariah Sitchin. I would love to face him today alive. But all these people coming out, whistleblowers, telling their stories, 20 years later, 50 years later? Why didn't they come out when it was happening? Things are only important when they're happening. Talking about Roswell, all right, is useless. Area 51, a friend of mine who's dying because of major reasons, Sean David Martin, was the top psychic from 1995 till the time he was put in jail. He was framed with 150 false charges, kept in jail while they tortured him. Sorry about that. He's out dying right now. Suffering, been doing everything he can to try to stay here. But people, he was the first person to go to Area 51. The first person to go to Area 51 and film and watch the mothership come in every couple of weeks. He rented a van. 5 people would get in a van and go up there and watch the mothership come in. All right? The government, the army, whatever, caught them, and they had to buy all that land so nobody could get there. And that's why it's one of the most protected areas right now. But I can go into stories about that. People don't want to hear things about people that aren't super famous right now. Ancient aliens have been dealing with pyramids for 15 years, and they're still saying the same thing. Now, sorry, people, all those people in Ancient Aliens talk and talk and talk about what? What they think. Thinking isn't important to us right now. The truth and real truth and evidence and actual experience is important. Actual experience. Meaning Tina, people like that, or I, because we did and saw and experienced things that very few people on this planet will ever. Mr. Musk wants to go to Mars. He has no clue what he's going to see when he gets there. He has no clue what's going on in the UFO world. He has no clue what the government's really doing. We will be releasing the most incredible UFO this year. The United States will. It'll be the most deadliest, powerful thing on the planet. It'll make the United States number one again. But it only costs $40 billion. And should be releasing it within 6 to 8 months. Maybe they'll hold back because they don't want Russia or Germany, China, or any other country to actually see it until they have to use it. But again, people, the government has been doing things to protect the United States. Not the poor people, not the middle class people, the rich people. Now, the United States has underground cities all across the United States. There's also an alien base next to every army base within the United States. Just so you know, I can tell you stories, real, true stories of what's going on. Picatinny Arsenal in New Jersey was the first army base on the planet. In the United States, sorry. All right. And over about, 24 years ago, they created 4 to 6, I don't know if it was 6, but I know there was 4 created, super soldiers. Clone created beings that were like almost 8 feet tall. Red eyes, the whole thing. Where they put them, where they sent them, they had to get this big giant van to put them in because they were too tall to fit in a car. So they had to get the super van to put them in and ship them somewhere. Who knows where and what they're doing. But that was how many years ago? Now, the legal law in China and Japan, humans can be cloned with animals. So don't expect not to see, do expect to see creatures of weird kinds coming out now. Not because God was angry or mad, because humans are pretty pathetic thinking they are God. Aliens controlled us for the longest time. After Atlantis was destroyed, they programmed humans to kill, sacrifice, torture, and all those kind of words. We weren't that. All right, we were the closest to being an aspect of God on this planet in the beginning. And I call it the Garden of Eden. But when Atlantis was destroyed, so was spirituality. There's nobody spiritual on this planet right now, no matter what they say. In the UFO world, We got people like Caroline Corey, did 3 movies, claiming she could levitate a piece of paper, claiming she could change people's DNA. What is she saying? She's God? Or a super powerful being? No, she's not. If you can levitate a piece of paper, you can levitate a car. People, changing people's DNA is going against all spiritual laws. Nobody has the right to interfere in another person's body, life, or abilities or anything unless they're invited in. You go to a doctor, you're inviting him to help you. All right. But when people go to a psychic, it's a little bit different. If you go to a psychic, all they do is use your own energy to heal you. It's you to heal yourself. Nobody else can. Jesus even said that, people. If you want the truth, you want to live in fairy tale land, which I say most UFO people do. All these top speakers, when they go to a UFO conference, do you know how much they get paid? Do you have a vague idea of what the average speaker gets paid? Even people from coast to coast and things like that have no experience with UFOs or aliens. Anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000. I know it was $20,000 20 years ago. So what they get paid to talk for 2 hours, but they always have to sit down for dinner on a Friday night with everybody. But they're getting paid top dollar. You'd sit down. I don't know if you know the name Danny Brinkley. His book was the #1 bestseller for a couple years. I had dinner with him. He admitted many things when I sat down at dinner with him. Personally, 13 people, we were with him. He admitted he killed 40 people for the government. He admitted he was I'm not going to say all the things he admitted to, but he admitted it in front of people. But when I went near him and hugged him and said thank you and everything, he had more good energy coming out of him than anybody else I ever dealt with. When you realize you're on a spiritual path or trying to get on a spiritual path, everything changes in your life. Dealing with aliens is not going to help you in any way. If you want to see a UFO, fine. Know that they're real. Understand they're real. Understand they're not here to help us. Well, they didn't do anything for mankind. I know you heard the story. They shut down 5 nuclear reactors across the world. But so what? They're watching every battlefield. They were here in Vietnam. What did they do? They take people. And during war, nobody can tell who the aliens take at all. And if you go into more things, like all the people missing in the state parks right now, people, complete families just disappear. And the parks don't have to mention it, say it. There's no actual facts that say, well, we have to tell how many people disappeared in our park in the past year. There's people out there doing books on it, doing all the investigation on it. I'm doing what I can where I am. All right. And people hate me. Everybody in the UFO world hates me. All the so-called spiritual people hate me. Jesus said the most spiritual person, or spiritual path, I should say, will always have the least following. Because people don't want the truth. They want to believe God's protecting them, loving them, and caring over them. Do you see that on planet Earth? When a child gets run over, abused, or any of that, you think God's saying, oh, I'm going to protect them? No. You think God cares about hell? No. Why do you think, not aliens, Satan runs this planet? You don't have to believe me. Why do you think there's so much crime? And it's escalating. Satan's army is growing. And my ex-partner said, Jesus is going to come here in 2034 and kill Lucifer. Well, Lucifer's an angel. Nobody's going to kill him. And he's not here on planet Earth. He's not programming people to kill and all the other things that are going on, people. Aliens are. I mean, when a child, I don't want to get into all that, but people, I want you to realize right now, there's multiple ships over your head right this second. If you do, I don't know if I finished, I was working with Tina, I don't know if I finished the best way to film that. You need a good camera. All right. When you go out mid-afternoon, have the sun in back of you. Point the camera to the sky. Set it on almost maximum distance, not the full, because then only things in that distance will be focused or come into the picture. Set it on 3/4 of maximum zoom. Leave the camera on for an hour or a half hour, because you're going to have to watch that in super slow motion. But I'm promising you, you will see UFOs coming by. Because they're traveling at the speed of light during the day, they can't be seen, not by the naked eye. All right. I mean, if they slow down and things like that, which happened to me many times, is a different story. But the other thing is, they know when you film them. They allow you to or not. I'm not even going to go into Billy Meyer's story because he had these ships going around circles over his house. Pretty boring for an alien ship to come here, fly over a guy's house, and circle around it over and over, doing nothing. All right. But again, people, there's more videos, more pictures coming out. Even if 10% are real out of 100, that's 10% of real pictures of real UFOs, not Chinese ships, German ships, or Russian ships. We can't fly at the speed of light. The body can't travel in the speed of light right now. I can tell you stories about that too. I've been in this since I was 6 years old, people. I'm 71. I'm not a liar. I'm not a storyteller. I base my truth on what I experience and know for fact. Not somebody else's, well, I saw this, I did this, and blah, blah, blah. I got people next door that said they were both abducted, him and his wife. I've been waiting to bring them on my show, but they've been fighting with the whole neighborhood, so I don't even want to get involved with that. People, the truth is out there. You heard that phrase, and it is. But are you willing to listen to it if you hear it? All right. I've been doing a show for 3 years with Tina. I did a show with TJ Morris for 12 years. I did a private show with I'm not going to say the company, but for about a year. But everybody was attacking me on that, saying I believed in a flat earth and all these ridiculous things. And I say people of flat earth have a flat head. You can prove the world's not flat easily. Go out and buy a good telescope. Go to the ocean or go to a high mountain over an ocean and shoot across the ocean. If it was flat, you would be able to see cities on the other side. You can see little holes in the moon and everything else. You can see a city on the other side of the planet. If it was flat, which it is not, what kind of situation would hold water from falling off or flowing over? All the things that they can't even prove or think about. Well, this theory, and theories are made by man. The planet wasn't made by man. Everything we try to prove was created by man's ego. Technology. We don't need it. We never did. Medicine. Oh, I can't use that word. Sorry. Bypass that word. What man creates is not beneficial. And my wording for that, man only creates better toys, better ships, better cars, better machines, everything to do nothing. I don't know if you remember Jacques Cousteau. One of his last movies before he died, he showed the pollution around the planet. And then he said the future of mankind, and this is what he drew pictures of, a little satellite with a man's head in it. He said they won't need a body. They don't want to do anything other than have sex. But outside of that, they don't want to work. They don't want to do anything like that. People, we're in trouble. And I don't know if you know what UN Agenda 30 is. It's in effect. Trump's not going to change that either. Neither is Biden. I'm not going to go into that in detail. Find out. Study it. Look it up. Follow the people that actually have been working with that and understanding it and trying to tell people what's really going on. It's not good. In 6 years, the world will be under one world order. 193 countries already agreed on that. I don't know where Musk is engaged with all these rich millionaire people, billionaires. They're not living underground right now. I'm sure they each have a little home down underneath. But not you or me, because we can't afford one. And it wasn't to protect us. You think they want to protect sick and poor people? Why? They have to feed them and take care of them and spend money on them. Rich people take care of themselves and they support the government, any government. Putin himself is one of the richest people on the planet. He doesn't need anybody to help him do whatever he wants to do. But he does care about his family. He does talk about aliens. He talked about working with 27 alien races. He said 2 of them want to destroy the planet. Putin himself on Russian TV. People, do you want truth? You want to, well, that's a tic-tac, and it's real. And now the government doesn't even want you to know what a UFO is. Any person in the UFO world that starts using the synthetic word unidentified aerial phenomena should be taken away, go into another field. Because phenomena is psychic, ghosts, spirits, and things like that, not UFOs. Aliens travel in a spaceship. Interdimensional beings do not need a spaceship. So right there's a big separation in two words. All right. What are interdimensional beings doing? Not helping the human race. People, you got to look at the world. We're deteriorating. In the past 100,000 years, after Atlantis was destroyed, look at all the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs. Where are we with that? Nowhere. It didn't help them. It's not going to help us. But who built them? Why? It doesn't matter. It wasn't to save the human race in any way. Women were only given freedom. How long ago? Women were always slaves after Atlantis was destroyed. Right? Native people respect women a lot different than white and every other tribe does. But the thing is, women are really still slaves to men. How they have to dress, how they have to make up, and all these other things to please a person. No, men don't have to do it. They could have a fat belly and think they're going to get the best looking girl on the planet. Really? People, our morals are gone. I usually shows our morals. But people don't care. People don't have them. They don't even believe the Ten Commandments were important. Well, the Ten Commandments were not complete sentences. Second of all, Moses wrote them, right? But he was being guided when he wrote them. But sadly, he didn't like them. So he created 63 more laws that the Hasidic Jewish people say they follow, which is impossible. But again, this is all taken away from any truth of what God really is. What God created this planet for, why God allows us to be here, why God allows aliens to be here. Everything's unfolding at a super slow level. And now, whether you want to hear this, the average person reincarnates at least 800 times. And think about every relationship you had in all that time frame, all the things you did. You should be a super genius by now. But every time you come back, you forget everything you went through in the past life. Now, because most people, when they die, well, I want to be with my family. Which one? Which lifetime? Just the present? Why? Because you died, you don't care about all the other families you were with and had and children and everything else? Plus, you were a man and a woman. You don't have to stay the same sex. And that's why there's so much screwed up ideas of, well, I'm a man or I'm a woman. Because you can experience both. And you have. So those little things that come in through the subconscious mind. People, if you have serious questions, please email me. I'll answer it. If you want to talk, I'd rather talk than type. Skype me, Hawksblood11. I'll give people my phone number once I know them. But people, we're being so programmed and taken away from the truth. And be prepared for what's going to happen in the next 5-6 years. Nothing good. Trump with his ego thinks he can make things better. Really. Our water's contaminated. Our air's contaminated. Our food's contaminated. So why don't we start there? Our egos are programmed. All right. We don't know what's important. We don't even know why we're here. Most people, sorry, not we, they. All right. There's a reason for everything. The government does everything they do for a reason. Why they're not bragging about what they do with aliens? Because it was horrible. EB was a real entity. The video online, watch it. The alien interrogation was real. Even Whitney Schreiber watched it and started crying, even though he was abducted. People, the human race is far from being spiritual. All right? Never mind dealing with truth. Man creates their own truth. They don't want the real truth. We only have 125 years in this lifetime, and they don't even like that. They want to live forever. Why? Why would you want to live in hell forever? Because you know no better. Even Jesus said you're only responsible for what you know. If you know nothing, you're not going to move forward. When you die and you go to what you call heaven, is called the astral plane, you stay there for a period of time, but you reincarnate into another body that is suitable for the karma that you have. You can't say, I'm going to come back as this, or I'm going to do that. Everybody that says that is lying to themselves because they don't know. I mean, they're programmed to believe that they were an alien or are an alien and all those other words. When you see a person come out shooting light beams out of their fingers and floating up into the sky and stuff, then you can start really believing what they're saying. But nobody on this planet can. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. It could. Go back to the first religion on the planet, which was Hinduism, and they were working with deities. Deities are real. I work with 3 different deities, people. Very few people can say that. Not by praying to them, by actually being with them. Big difference. I proved it for a couple of years. I was working with one deity. Even my ex-partner experienced the wrath of it. But people, I'm not here to create make-believe stories. I'm not here to take you away from the truth. And I don't care if you believe one word I say. The only thing matters that you go out and prove something to yourself. The first thing you need to prove if you're watching this show is prove that UFOs are real. If you see a ship come along like that, we don't have the ability to do that. Never did. All right? Once you see that, it'll open your mind that it's real. Never mind being next to an alien or any of the other things. Abduction, I can go into stories about that. There's 125 doctors that meet twice a year. They all have been abducted. And they all got different stories and trying to understand it. People, just because you didn't hear it doesn't mean it's not real. Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it's not real. But if that's the story, work it going to, I didn't intentionally try to see a Bigfoot. And I was standing half a foot away from one. All right. I was doing UFO work when a Bigfoot came up right next to me. All right. It's real. All these things you hear about are real. I saw I'm not going to use cattle mutilation because it wasn't a cow that was mutilated or taken or used. I saw animals being mutilated and taken. All right. I filmed it. I have pictures. My camera was stripped. And another reason why it was stripped, I had pictures of Denver Airport saying U.S. New World Order in the floor in the main capstone of Denver Airport in steel. They had a capstone there with all the presidents, and they had these horrible murals around the whole thing. They only got one up right now. But it is, read Behold the Pale Horse. He never finished the details behind it. He never put a picture up of inside the flooring, which I had. I think I was the only person that had it because they stripped my computer so fast. Once I admitted that I had it. Because when Behold the Pale Horse, he wrote the technique and the stories behind Denver Airport. It's a base where they're planning on bringing ships in when they start bringing ships in. I'm not going to go into that. Read the book. He died. He was, I guess, a drunk and all kinds of things at the end. People in the UFO world don't have a good life. Nothing's pleasurable. The government will never make it pleasurable for them either. Read Phil Snyder's story. Check out John Ford, Ford. He's in a nut house on Long Island. Read why they put him in there. I saw his video he filmed of a UFO crash on Long Island. Probably the most important video ever taken of a ship. He sent it around the world in case he dies. But it only gets showed when he dies. So they keep him in a nut house, but they're not killing him either. And they can't. But then again, if he would have released the video in 1996, he would not be in the nut house since then. 96 was a horrible year for the UFO world. 100 UFO people were taken out. 100 top nuclear scientists were taken out. All right. John Ford was taken out, put in the nut house. Phil Snyder was taken out, the whole UFO world kind of took a deep plunge down. And now we got all these new age speakers called UFO speakers talking about, oh, I think this. I joined Richard Dolan's site. I was paying 9 months. I wrote him emails, 1 or 2 every month. I never got a reply. I joined the Skinwalker Ranch, wrote them letters every month, never got a reply. I will say this. I'm not going to say his name. One famous person said they'll come on my show. But I've been having so many problems with the show, I don't want to bring them on until I know it's safe. All right? Like I said, I lost 20 minutes of this show today. YouTube took about 4 of my shows down in the past 2 months. They threaten me every 2 months because 2 months you get a grace, and then you go back to, if they take another video down, they're going to take your show away. Not your show, your site. I was warned 3 times already. So I really feel that if this show disappears, so will all my videos. I have a few people taking, filming, downloading every show that I do. But then again, they're not going to be able to put it back up everywhere and all that. I don't expect to change reality. I'm not here to do that. Nobody ever was. Jesus had a simple message to bring to the world, and they did not even hear it. People, my books are all about spiritual truth. My first book was How to See God. Then my second book, When Truth is Called Crazy. Then my third book, Truth Beyond the Illusion. And my fourth most important book, The True Teachings of Jesus. I might do part 2 if I'm alive to do it. All right. But I have a book coming out next month, not about aliens, not about the government, about men. It's called For Women Only. It's for women to understand and defend themselves against men at every level. No matter what they believe, what they think, they have no clue what a man really thinks. So it's for understanding a man's ego. I don't want to make money off of it. I just want women to read it. It'll protect them in more ways than one. What they should do and what they should not do. Well, you can't get away with anything on this planet. Everything creates karma, good or bad. And more people like creating bad karma. The problem with bad karma, you could create as much as you want and keep creating it. You create too much good karma, you don't have to stay here. I had the option to leave twice. I almost left the last time, and I decided I wanted to do one more book, which was that book. All right. So I'm releasing this book. I didn't know how much longer I want to stay here. I'm taking care of a person. I'm living with them. I just can't run away because I want to. We have responsibilities, but doing wrong things with that creates more karma. I don't want to come back, and I'm not going to. If I intentionally kill somebody, I will have to reincarnate. When a person goes and kills some person voluntarily, that's the worst karma you can create, or sexually abuse a person. All right? When you go in the army and they say, go kill these people, you're doing something because a man told you to do it. Not God, not an angel, a man with an ego and power. We're being run by a government. The Constitution was created by a couple rich people wanting to control everybody else. Even the electoral vote people was created so that they can control the president, not us. Jefferson fought that, but he also was the biggest Native American killer in history. People, and he was president. He was our third president. I can go into the story about Aaron Burr and Hamilton. Aaron Burr killed Hamilton. All right. I know the facts behind that. He actually ended up in George Washington's house with Madame Jumel. I worked there doing investigation, psychic, and all that with the person, top psychic UFO, not UFO, medium in the United States at that time. I was doing Ghostbusting when I was 16. All these things are real. But we want to believe aliens are going to come and help us. After thousands and thousands of years, they're coming down to help us. Why? The only thing, I mean, they got reasons for here, but to let us go through the universe, why would they do that? Man's ego always wants to make things better in his ego. And that's destroying something to make a better toy. Well, I don't want to go on too much longer, people. I'm glad anybody that was here, I'm glad you stayed. Anybody who wants to ask me questions, talk to me, please. Hawksblood1, AOL.com. I'm on Skype. I'd rather talk to a person on Skype. Friend me, Hawksblood11. All right. I had one, but I messed it up, so I don't even go in there anymore. But Hawksblood11. Please, any questions? I'll answer them good or bad. But you need the truth, and you need somebody willing to tell you it. You want to learn about religion? I will probably do a show by the end of this week on that as well. People follow a false God, a false religion, false teachings, and are programmed. Any person can be programmed, people. I worked with an army hypnotist that did it in the army to prove that hypnosis can make anybody do anything they want. And if you go to hypnotic school, whatever you want to call it, they'll say you can't make a person do what they don't want to do. Complete lie. So, people, you want the truth, please call me, text me, put it in the chat room, whatever. I'll answer questions. Anyone that I know as fact the truth. And I hate to say I know more than most people out there, especially what Tesla was really doing. Not Tesla the car, Tesla the person that created an earthquake machine in 1900. What he was working on. The biggest UFO story happened in New Jersey. You don't hear a word about it, do you? These UFO people are afraid to go near it. 2 books came out by one of the people involved with the Philadelphia experiment. Another person in New York has a book company. But they know very little about the truth. When I was involved with all that, I actually saw the Hershey monkey. Check that out. I actually was next to a Bigfoot. All that happened where Tesla was working with DuPont. All right. Never mind what actually happened when Wanacue Reservoir was flooded. They flooded a city. All right, people, real short. 9 months, ships went in and out of that reservoir. The army was stationed around it. You don't hear that story. Well, people, I hope you got something out of today. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. Feel free to text me, write me, email me, however you want to get to me. If you don't like me, sorry. Don't come here. Don't listen. Go back to your program whistleblowers and listen to their stories. They didn't help anybody. They're not proving anything. And all they can do is attack our government. Michael Salla lived in Hawaii. I harassed him every chance I could. I mean, I met him twice in the parking lot. When he came back from the UFO conference, I said, wow, how'd you like it? Oh, it was great. I said, what'd you learn? He said, well, I didn't learn anything. I said, why'd you go? If you're going to pay money to go to a UFO conference, hopefully you would learn something or get something really important out of it, which you don't, because none of those people have a clue. The people that were important. Now, I'm not going to go into all the names. One of them was taken out, and this woman's taken over his place, taking people out to see UFOs, and she has no clue. You know, people get more famous by putting themselves with other famous people. And like even cousins from Hawaii, they're twins, and they were nobodies when I first met them. And they wanted me to do certain things, like come on your show, and I said, okay. But he wanted me to come on Friday night when everybody calls in. I said, if you can't set up a show for me, forget it. But he's goes to every person he can to get more publicity. He just did a video with Stephen Greer, the biggest spiritual liar, claiming he's spiritual, claiming aliens are spiritual, claiming aliens are good. And everything else he says is a lie. And I tell these people, last thing I'll say, if they can grow a pair of balls, debate me. Debate me on their perverted, twisted truth. Anytime, any place, anywhere. Any one of them. All of them. But they're afraid to. Because if their truth is destroyed, then their money income is destroyed as well. So with that, people, Tommy Hawksblood calling from the Big Island of Hawaii. Hope you got something out of today. Till next time.